Well, welcome back. Well, today, President Biden will meet with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy at the White House for their highly anticipated debt ceiling meeting. A White House memo says that Biden plans to pose two questions to McCarthy. Whether he'll, quote, commit to the bedrock principle that the United States will never default on its financial obligations. Well, we know Kevin McCarthy will say yes. And when McCarthy and House Republicans will release their budget. Joining me right now is Ohio Congressman, House Agriculture Committee member, and House Science, Space, and Technology Committee member Max Miller. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. You know, it's interesting to hear Biden turn it around on Congress because the truth is Congress has not produced a budget.
Yeah, that may be true, but the negotiations are going to start today with Speaker McCarthy and President Biden, and this is going to be our starting point throughout this. But if we look at this is responsible, it's sensible, and it's what needs to happen. This country has maxed out our credit cards so much so, and every single American, as they go throughout the day, they try to live within their means. This country has maxed out the credit card. We are going over and beyond what the means are. We need to dial all of these things back, but the starting point will be when Speaker McCarthy meets with President Biden today and really negotiate, and that will be our starting point and a way forward. But to be clear, throughout these negotiations, Speaker McCarthy has been abundantly clear that when it comes to Social Security and Medicare, benefits are off the table. So this nonsense talking point coming from the left about this dangerous rhetoric from the right simply just isn't true. We're going to operate in good faith, and I'm looking forward to see what comes out of the meeting today.
Well, are you expecting that Joe Biden will agree to go back to 2022 spending levels? I mean, he said he's going to veto anything you all put in front of him.
Right. Well, there's one thing that we know about President Biden. It's that he legitimately does not care about the American people, and we have seen it time and time again. He is going to have to come to the table to negotiate reasonably and responsibly with the Republican Party, who now has the majority of the House under Speaker McCarthy's leadership. He is going to have to budge. That being said, I am not in that room today, and I'm very much looking forward to what Speaker McCarthy can share with our conference as a way forward to get this done for the American people.
Joe.
Congressman, it's Joe Concha. Where specifically will Republicans cut spending? We hear that we have to cut spending in broad terms, but where specifically are you thinking about targeting?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of conversations and negotiations about looking at the discretionary side when it comes to the defense budget to see where we can save this country. But more so than that, I wish I had more to explain and to tell you, but these negotiations are going to start today with Speaker McCarthy, and we are all standing by to see what is going to come out of that meeting, because that really is going to be our way forward. But we are actively working behind the scenes to make sure that this country is not going to default. We are actively making sure that millions of Americans will be safe and continue to pay their mortgages and car notes, and to be responsible and sensible and to take care of this country. But let's just face it, we're here because of the Democrats. We're here because the Democrats don't take the national debt and the budget seriously.
Now, we
they have put us in
that.
this position.
And they certainly have tied your hands with that $1.7 trillion omnibus bill at the end of the year. Look, Tiana, if you cut defense spending, you go back to 2022 levels, you're talking about a $75 billion cut in defense spending. That's going to be the fight.
Absolutely, because if you're saying that you won't touch entitlements, right? If you look at the long-term growth of our national spending and specifically our interest payments, which will eat up close to 10% of our economic output by, the half point of the century, then really defense spending is all you can do if you're not going to do Medicare and Social Security reform. So the question is how much defense spending is on the table, because I think the Republicans especially, who are, tough on national security, deserve to know.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree, and we're going to be looking over every single aspect of where we can be in cutting the fat of the federal government and looking at the regulatory agencies and the hurt they've been bringing down on the American people. And we've already done great things like voted to defund the IRS of $72 billion. We are actively trying to remove some of the money in the $5 trillion that has been spent by the Biden administration over the last 2 years. I mean, just saying that again, $5 trillion in the last 2 years, and they want to continue to spend more money to put this country into an oblivion.
Well, look, the Committee for Responsible Budget says it's $5.8 trillion in borrowing in the last 2 years. But look, we know you've done a lot in just this last couple of weeks. The House passed the Pandemic is Over Act yesterday along party lines, which would terminate the COVID public health emergency. 7 Democrats then joined Republicans to pass the Freedom for Healthcare Workers Act, which would end the federal mandate requiring healthcare workers be vaccinated. And this coming just one day after the president said that he would end the emergency on May 11th. though, of course, he got the date wrong. Watch this.
What's behind your decision to end the COVID emergency?
COVID emergency will end when the Supreme Court ends it. We've extended to May the 15th to make sure we get everything done. That's all. There's nothing behind the law.
Well, he meant that May 11th. John, jump in.
Yeah, what else is new? You know, Congressman, I think if we're ever going to have any type of substantial progress and budget deficit reduction, you know, it's important that we get some cutbacks in federal spending, but I doubt very much if the Democrats will go along unless the Republicans agree to some type of tax hikes. Any comments on that?
I don't have any direct comments on that, but this is what I know. I know that the Republican Party is not going to let this country fail and to default on our loans. The position that we're being put in is that I would never want to spend another penny if I didn't have to out of the Federal Reserve. However, I do not believe that that's a pragmatic solution to move forward for this country and every single American with inside of it. And to remember, and I'm going to continue to keep on doubling down, the Democrats never treated this seriously. They never took our national debt into consideration to protect our children's future in this country. And that is all that we have left at this point. My greatest concern is if both sides don't come to the table and find a reasonable solution, the United States dollar will no longer be the reserve's world currency. And then we're going to be like Venezuela within probably a 5 to 10 year period. And this is something that the Democrats continue to downplay, that Republicans continue, and we can continue need to talk about. This is a very serious, detrimental issue to our country that, you know, Democrats just, they blow it off.
Yeah. All right, we'll be watching. We'll see what comes out of this meeting, Congressman. Good to see you this morning. Thank you.